we hit earlier.
And we were on here and then all of a
You're good to go.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
So where did buyers come from? We'll just say this. Lead generation, consistent scheduled time blocking, meaning you're going out and you're spending time specifically on finding buyers to work with. You're asking other people to use their listings to help get buyers or your own listings as well. You're going to do open houses forever you want. You can pick and choose the market that you want to be in. So if you want to work in Solon only, you should do open houses in Solon. If you want to work in Chagrin Falls, you should do open houses in Chagrin Falls, right? And then your database. So for our team, the Trip team, the database is probably the most important thing that we use to help find buyers. We use our command, we throw everybody in there, and we use touch programs, a 36 touch program, where it's mailers, texting, calling, maybe do your Facebook messaging, Instagram photo, videos, things of that nature as well. So your database is probably the strongest area that you're going to be able to get more buyers. That's literally going through your phone. Maybe follow the DTD2 program from Bold, where you're calling S's and I's one day. You're calling C's and D's another. So your phone itself is a database. All the emails, your past wedding list, get all that information together, go back and just check in with people, see how they've been doing. And then obviously you can buy Zillow leads. If you can buy a zip code in Zillow, what the great thing about that is, let's say I'm from Kirtland, so I want to buy the 44094 zip code. If anytime somebody goes to look for a house in that zip code, my name and face is going to be the first one they see. The coolest thing is that Gary Kellerwing's our owner, pretty much. He has gone through a deal with Zillow, so we are now premier agents. So if it's your listing and you're a Keller Williams agent, you will be the first one up there. So if other people are buying that zip code, you're trumping them in a way. So you're like, your face is up there first. Keep in mind that Trulia pulls from Zillow, they pull from the auditor's site. You want to know this because when you work with buyers, you're going to have to let them know, like, hey, this is going to be a lot harder for you to find an updated listing through Zillow. It may have already been sold, things of that nature. And then Trulia pulls from Zillow, so that's where the auditor site's not always accurate. And then Realtor.com upgrades every 15 minutes from the MLS. So if anything, you can have use Realtor.com. So the key from this is it's not about selling real estate, it's about keeping a schedule. If you are consistently and doing your daily activities while you keep your schedule and lead generating, you're going to find more and more and more buyers. You're going to have so many buyers that at one point you're going to be able to get rid of buyers and work with your A buyers instead of your D buyers. Or you can put them on the back burner until they're ready. You have to set your goals. How do you know how many buyers you want to work with throughout the whole year? You put the number on it and then you work backwards. And then you start with the end in mind. Starting with the end in mind, if you want to do 50 deals a year, if you want to do 20 deals, heck, if you want to do just 5 deals a year, you have to figure out what your daily activities are going to take to generate that many leads and then that many buyers. And then this is just something crazy that I made up. So for buyers, it's my cup of tea. Consistent, urgent, and persistent with your buyers, tenacity, energy, and you have to get into action and be extremely active. You know, it's a very tough market right now because it's such a seller's market that finding buyers, you're going to have to set a lot of expectations. You're going to have to stay consistent with showing them things. When it's time where a house pops up, you have to be urgent. You have to be persistent with them. It's going to take a lot of tenacity, probably the most amount of energy you've ever given to something. You're going to need to turn that up a notch. Take it from a 5 to an 11, right? And then you just gotta stay active.
And make sure you put that urgency on your buyer too. I've had to share with my buyers, like they'll say on Friday, can we go Tuesday? I'm like, the house is gonna be gone. I mean, this is common sense, but it's things that are really hard to generate to buyers. And also back to Zillow Trulia, just to make yourself look like the buyer specialist. Piggybacking off of what David said, these are not accurate systems. They need to have a portal set up with you to get them live. Those are live portal set up, which you already probably know that, but just reiterating, some buyers don't understand that. So. Yeah,
they don't. And some of you have to understand that the MLS is the most powerful site out there. Leverage that as one of your value adds. Because Zillow behind, let's be honest, some realtors really just want more leads and more buyers. So they somehow get a Zillow posting up that's from years ago and you're like, why is this even on here? So, you know, be the professional. Use the integrity that you have and say that that's not there. Let me get into it. I'll dig into it. You have to go above and beyond and get them the answer that they wanted, plus a little bit extra.
And just keep telling them, you're the specialist. You are. You're the professional specialist.
The line is, you're the boss, I'm the expert. This is what I would do. But however you want to go about it, this is what I would do. Just keep that in mind. All right. So actually, this is you.
Yeah. So these are just some of the 2019 stats that we pulled, and I pulled up from NAR with buyers and sellers. 89% of buyers purchase a home through a realtor. It's a large number. It may be surprising to some people, but it's fantastic for us. 41% of the buyers found their agent through a referral family friend. So that tells you what? You need to really focus on your list of people that you know and just let it keep multiplying from there. Focus on that database. That 200 to 250 people is a good place to start, and focus on building that database. 75% of buyers interviewed only one real estate agent. That's a large percentage of people who didn't even interview other agents. They go with the first person that they know of. 51% of buyers visited an open house as a way to search for homes. This number surprised me because to me, that's a large percentage of people looking at open houses without a realtor. Maybe they had a realtor, but.
This 80% is just a little updated from the third from the right.
Oh, thank you. So 80% of buyers and sellers use the first realtor they meet. So, just piggybacking off of the 75% of buyers interviewed. So if you can get in front of them, give them your specialty, your expertise, they are more than likely to use you as a realtor.
What's crazy is this stat is 51% of buyers visited an open house, and only 1% of those actual buyers that go to the open house may even write on that house.
Yes.
So these people are just going through, checking out places without a realtor. That means there's business to be found.
Yes.
There are people to capture. There are people to put in your database, and then you do your 36 touch with them.
And explaining to them, we'll get there later, we don't have to cover it. Explaining to them that the value that you add, and I'm not gonna say that you're telling people that they're not paying you to be their agent, because that's a catchy, but explaining to them, I'm not charging you a fee to go look at homes,
right?
And get you the right home. Obviously, you're not gonna.
And we'll talk about that's important in your buyer presentation,
really
from setting your expectations right off the rip.
People don't know. They are like, how do I pay you? What do I pay you? I've had so many people say to me, when do I pay you? I'm like, you're not paying me. We'll talk about that. So
cool. So how does lead generating work? Script and role play. Does anybody here have a script and role play partner at all? No? Maybe? Okay. So here's the importance. You have 5 things to do as a realtor. It is lead generate, which is the top one. You want to lead generate because that's the only way you're going to find buyers and sellers. And the other one out of the 5 is script and role play. Like, you only have 5 things to do as a realtor. Scripting and role playing and lead generating are 2 of them. It's the most important thing. Obviously, writing offers and then going on and negotiating, or going on appointments and negotiating offers is the other 2 more. Sphere of influence and follow-up. What does sphere of influence mean? Does anybody know what that means? It's what they're saying. Oh, God. I'm sorry.
People will know you.
Yeah, your friends.
Friends, family.
People who came to your wedding. People who come to your kids' birthday parties. So why are we not touching them enough? I know it sounds weird, but why are we not getting into their heads enough? Why are we not staying on top of mind? These are the people that want to fight for you the most. They care about you the most. They love you. They want to see you succeed. Yeah. They'd rather give you their money than give it to somebody that they don't know. That's how you win a lot of. Your sphere of influence is a 36 touch program. And there's times where you can go in and talk to them about business and say, hey, real quick, this is strictly a business call. I just wanted to see if you knew anybody from church or work that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. Then the next conversation could be like, hey, this is David. I just want to see what's up. How's the family doing? Awesome. How has work been? Cool. What have you guys been doing to have fun lately? If there's one thing that you wanted to accomplish in 2020, what was it? Awesome. Great talking to you. Hang up. You're good. You didn't talk real estate, but they still know who you are. The next time, hey, this is strictly a business conversation, making my calls today, seeing if you knew anybody from work or church that's looking to buy, sell, or invest.
And people remember this. They remember that you cared enough to call them and check on them. I mean, COVID was a great time to do that, but still following up with people, calling them just to see how they're doing. And they don't forget about you when you call or send a card.
So talking real estate, how many times have you found yourself in a social setting? You're out at a pub, you're at a bar, you're at a restaurant, you're at dinner. And people say, hey, I've been seeing your videos. You're really crushing it. Like how's the market been? For me, I love that that attention is coming to us, and we've been able to be strong enough to create that kind of attention. That what I do is we'll go into the LP Mama script is I LP Mama them so I can set an appointment. Let that natural conversation have, but we're here to have fun. I'm here to hang out with my friends. I'm here to enjoy dinner. Let's talk on Wednesday at 12:30, because if it's not scheduled, it doesn't exist. So pretty much you're saying, hey, I'd love to talk to you about this a little bit further. How about a cup of coffee on Thursday at 10:30 in the morning? We can meet here in Solon or wherever and set that appointment. Set that appointment. So you're always going to be talking real estate. When people find out about it, you just have to learn to take them from the A point of meeting them and talking to them to get them to the Z, which is sitting down and getting that appointment. Okay. How many people have Facebook pages? Facebook pages, great. Marketing on your Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn is probably the most crucial thing that you can do today. Social media marketing will get you more and more and more and more buyers.
And you don't even realize it's happening. People just are watching your post and it's coming.
Crazy.
Yes.
So there are some social media programs that you can use. Systems and models is what I mean. Is like we just incorporated a 5-5-1, which is 5 likes or 5 reactions or 5 remarks on Facebook, love, care, wow, and then say 5 comments and then post 1 video or something a day or throughout the week. So it's something to kind of track and understand where you're going, because you're going to be seeing more and more likes. And it's not about the likes, it's just getting content out there. Because if people see your face and they see real estate, they're going to think of you. Very simple, right? Again, open houses, we're going to have to learn the LP Mama script, because let's say I'm doing an open house in Lakewood. Hey, is Lakewood the only place you're looking at? That was location, right? Hey, this is priced at $250. Is that the price point you're looking in? It is. Awesome. So perfect. Hey, how many houses have you seen the inside of? We've only been doing open houses. Okay, so are you working with an agent actively? No, we're not. Okay, that's great. Have you had a chance to talk to a mortgage professional? No, we have not procured a loan. Do you mind if I send you so-and-so to help you out? Now you're building that relationship with them. Hey, this is the most key thing for me is, hey, I don't mind doing this. Would you like to sit down and go over the whole home buying process and do a complete market analysis of where you're looking? Now we're setting the appointment. So when you're at an open house or you're talking real estate in the bar, it's the same, it's a script. It's all you're doing is scripting people to get the appointment, and now they're going to love you, make you, they want to work with you because they chose you for the time.
I know. He's
take you with me.
He is like a fantastic buyer.
Oh my gosh.
I don't really need to be here. That's presentation. He's awesome.
So your daily activities have to be scheduled. If you are all over the place, there's a book, the 4-Hour Work Week. It's legit. Like if you're gonna have to get up a little bit earlier, you can do all of your calls. You can do all of your emails. You can go and love and like and wow and care about people's information for 4 hours. And then you have 12 o'clock in the morning to the rest of the day to go show, to go on listing appointments. It's like you're protecting your morning time, because lead generation daily is the most important thing. Cool. So my goals for lead generation are setting appointments. And remember, it's a customer until you turn them into a client. So you gotta get them from one end to the next end. That's all you have to do. So our goals for you today is try to figure out how we can set more appointments and convert customers into clients. Anybody have any questions so far?
But get on their schedule.
Get it on their schedule.
Yeah.
When are you gonna lead generate? Here's the thing is your vacations, your life is the most important thing. You schedule those first and then you guard those, right? That's the most important stuff. So if you're going to trip, that's the first thing. I'm going to Montego Bay for my honeymoon in December. You better believe I have that on my calendar and nobody's going to interrupt me in any possible way. I'm going. So after that, then it's, maybe a birthday party, whatever. And then you start getting into setting appointments, or when are you going to lead generate and how are you going to lead generate? And what is your plan for lead generating? Are you going after buyers today? Are we going after sellers? How many times do you go after sellers and you end up getting a buyer? So it's constantly generating every day, looking to set an appointment constantly, and then you convert those people into clients. You want to work with them all the time.
I have a question. So do you do a sit down appointment with every single buyer?
Yes. And if I don't, I'm not working with you. I know it sounds crazy, like aggressive, but because here's the thing is I have done it in the past where we have set an appointment and they didn't come, but then they want to go see houses, I won't. You're my 80-20 principle, the Pareto principle, you're not my 20% anymore because you wouldn't give me the time of day the first time. Why do I have to work? I don't.
Okay.
So for me, if I do a sit-down consultation, it's wherever you want to feel comfortable that you know it's going to be quiet and you can get the results that you want.
Right.
Cool. You got anything?
Nope. Thank you.
So how do I convert a lead? So we're going out and we're finding buyers, we're getting scripted, we're understanding that we need to know exactly what to say because there's times where we just drag on and we never actually set the actual appointment. So how often do you script practice and role play? What do you think that answer is?
Daily.
Daily, because if you're not doing it with somebody that holds you accountable to do it, you're practicing on your clients. And that's probably the worst thing. Now you're kind of behind in a way. So if you don't have a script and role play partner, literally you can talk to somebody for 10 minutes. And that's it. You should be able to set an appointment probably within 10 minutes. Because if you follow the way the script is, you're not wasting their time and you set the appointment. It's great. So is it scheduled? Is your script and role play scheduled? And if it is, like, who is holding you accountable? At the end of the day, the answer for who is holding you accountable should just be yourself. But if you feel you need somebody else to kind of just go put it in the universe, go put it on Facebook, like, hey, I'm going to go meet 5 new people today, watch me do it, or something. However you want to do it, just somebody's got to find you accountable somehow.
Ask someone in your office too. There's other people that want to role play. If you just need 10 minutes a day, practice with them. If you
I know Kate on our team loves to role play. Rabinovich, she's loves
really
role
good.
play.
Yeah.
She's getting really good. Okay, so open house script is the LP Mama script. Does anybody have a house that they're listing or for sale? You do? What's the address?
Well, I don't know by heart. I have 1355 Norwood.
Okay. So here, can I script with you a little bit?
Okay.
I'm gonna be the agent. You're gonna be the buyer.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So hey, ring, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, I just saw that 3355 Knollwood is listed in
Richmond Heights.
Richmond Heights. Is that the only location that you're looking to buy in?
Yeah. I like the school.
Love the school system. Go Spartans. All right, great. Hey, the price point is $189.9. Is that kind of the price point you were looking in?
Yeah, around there.
Around there. Okay, great. Awesome. Have you had a chance to talk to a lending professional to know how much you can afford or what your buying power is?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. So how did you come up that you wanted to pay like $189.9? How does that price come up, or did you just like the neighborhood?
I just like the neighborhood.
Okay, great. So what we're doing is, have you worked with any other agents yet? Or have you seen any house with any other agents? Have you signed a buyer exclusive agreement in any way?
No.
Awesome. Great. So then you go into mortgage, we did through that. And then I'll go, hey, I don't mind doing this. I know you probably want to see the property and you haven't worked with any other agents for. I don't mind this. Would you mind sitting down with me? We'll go over the whole home buying process, do a complete market analysis of the areas that you're looking in. Then I could use our MLS, put you on a great portal, and then even get you in contact with a great lender. Would that work for you?
Sure.
Okay, great. I'm available Tuesday at 12 o'clock or Wednesday at 1:30. What works best for you?
Probably the 12 o'clock.
All right, perfect. All right, I will put you in my calendar. I'll text you that morning, and I'll let you know that we're going to meet that day.
Okay.
Sound good? Good. So that script you can use in an open house. Hey, welcome. Welcome. Are you guys only looking in Lakewood? No, Fairview Park. Okay, great. So now you're mentally taking notes as you hear. If you're taking that call over the phone too, you need to be writing this stuff down, analog, put it somehow somewhere. Because when you follow up with them, you're taking all those tidbits and you're not in a way using against them, but that's your bits of information. You're just
showing that you know what they
want.
You're
loading your gun. You're loading your gun full of bullets, and when you go to do the consultation, you're shooting off all these ideas back to them that they're already talking about. It's your ammo, right? In so many ways. So LP Mama, if you don't have it, learn it. This is the most important script for buying all day and setting appointments. Once I learned this, I turned into a totally different agent. It was completely different. I was setting more appointments. I was selling more houses. My life was a little bit more free because of this. And I was using it in 3 different places: open houses, phone calls, and social settings. And then talking from experience is going and failing. Go and fail as much as you can each and every day.
Yep.
But if you run out of things to say, you have this script. That's your foundation. That's your support system in so many ways, because then you just go back to it. Keeping in mind, it doesn't need to be LP mama. It could be ma, whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? Or plama. It doesn't matter. As long as you bring it all together and you end with an appointment, cool, good job, right? So are you a closer? So what did I do here? What I was asking is time. I did time. Does that sound good? Sounds good. Give people less to say back to you and yeses. Like when you're showing a home, do you love the space in this house? Yes, I do, right? These are just open, like super simple questions to get them to tie down. Another tie down is, can't you see yourself putting all your furniture in this house? Yes.
Do you see yourself in this backyard?
Do you see yourself in this backyard? Yes, again, right? Now you say, hey, if there's one thing that you would change in this property, or if you were to move it to a different location, what would it be? That's a great open-ended question. You're not getting yes or no, you're opening up a conversation, right? And then takeaways like, hey, if this wasn't in Richmond Heights, would you still buy it? Or if it didn't have this great new kitchen in here, would you still buy it? Or if it wasn't in this location, would you still buy it? Because you need to get as much information from your buyers as possible, because they say the average buyer sees 8 homes before they make their first purchase. So if you show them 8, 9 homes, you kind of have to start over and say, what are we seeing so far that hasn't worked? We're always reanalyzing what we're doing. So now pain versus pleasure, obviously everybody knows pain versus pleasure. Hey, I know that this house is listed at 150, and it sounds like to win to get this, you're gonna have to go to 160. Like you're probably gonna have to go to 160,000. Now, are you willing to pay the extra 10 grand to get your house when in reality it's only maybe $10 extra a month for the 10 grand difference? So we're taking pain and pleasure. We're saying, hey, if this goes up an extra 10 grand, if you don't do that, you won't get it. So you have to incorporate. It's not like you're a business. This is your business.
And setting expectations up front in this market, I think, is just a huge piece that conversation has to happen up front.
Yes, 100%. In your buyer, that's why you have to do your sit-down consultations together or Zoom. I prefer face-to-face, but if you could do Zoom, cool. Face-to-face is always the best way, because now we're building a bond and it's a little bit different that way. And then obviously the types of closes are just asking great questions to get small yeses until they start dominoing effect into the big yes. That's all you need. And then the goal is to execute. None of this means anything. Right now, it's just a bunch of hot air coming from me, but you have to go and do it. You have to be active. The worst comes to worst, if you're not feeling comfortable, break through and just go. What's the worst thing happen is you fail, you as a buyer, go out and get 3 more.
But you learn something from it. I mean, every time I fail something, I learn what I'm not going to do next time.
Exactly. And all your efforts are going to turn into a sit-down consultation. They just will. It's natural. If you follow this script and you come from experience and your heart and your passion shows and you want to help them, you're going to get more sit-down consultations. Anything? Nope. You guys have any questions? Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense.
All right, cool. We're kind of moving through it, but all right. So now you actually have them and you're sitting down with them in your consultation. What are some of the things that we need to do at the sit-down consultation? So for us, in my buyer presentation, we go through everything. We talk about, how do offers work? What's the deal with the earnest money check? What do you want to do once a home inspection comes back from those results? We only want to deal with health and safety issues, right? Because nowadays, if you're asking for contingencies to be added into your offer, chances are that just adds another piece of leverage against your buyer. So we have to be very careful to let them know that this market is not like it's going to be tough. We're going to have to see a few houses, or you're going to have to get aggressive and you're going to have to write some above list price offers. Okay. Let them know what active, contingent, pending, and sold means, because now you're not wasting time. Hey, I saw this house is on the market. It says pending. What does that mean? Now we're just eliminating less from what they're seeing. We're kind of putting the horse blinders on them. And we're saying, this is what you need to focus on. Active, active, active. Only active. How does the process work? Well, it's great. I'm going to meet with you today. We're going to build your criteria. We're going to talk about the top 5 things that you must have in your home. We're going to talk about the one thing that you can't have, the deal breaker in your home. Okay? Keep it in mind, when I work with buyers, I use the word home. And when I'm working with sellers, I use the word house. It's going to make a big difference because you want to make it a home for them when they're a buyer. When you're selling somebody's house, you want to eliminate the home because it takes away the emotion of it. Okay? So you're going through the process. I'm talking about, showing houses. Hey, I'm going to show you up to 8 homes. If we go past that, maybe we should sit down and talk about what you haven't seen that you don't like or what you would like to see more of. Okay? So you're setting your expectations there. If we see more than 8 houses, we're going to have to reconfigure a few things. It's up to you. Whatever your expectations are, shove them on them, right?
And sometimes I hate to get to that point. You want to eliminate getting to the point where they're missing out on several homes. But if they do, it only takes hopefully 1 or 2 of my buyers are like, okay, all right, what do we need to do? It's like, okay, let's go back to what we talked about. And it's sort of a reassessment, as David said.
100%. Because one thing is, what's the one thing you'll never get back ever again? It's time. Yeah. So use it wisely. So in your process, you can lay out the whole thing for them. If you start figuring out like, hey, we're going to talk about building a criteria. Then we're going to go into showing homes. Then we're going to go into writing offers. Then we're going to go into earnest money, what that means and why we have to do it. Then we're going to go into home inspections. We're going to go into the appraisal costs, the value of it, why it's important, why it's done, how much it costs, how can you afford it, where's the way we can allocate funds so you don't have to bring it out of your pocket. And then you get into just the lending and title stuff, which is probably the longest and most boring part of it.
Yes.
But you have to let them know that that's the time that their patience has to step it up to the next level anyways. Especially now because everybody's just so far behind. And then what the closing process looks like. Bring your ID, come to the house, things of that nature. And then in our buyer presentation, we sell ourselves a little bit. We're teaching Ignite classes like this. We're going to bold. Gary Keller says if you take bold 10 times, you're a master realtor. Tell them how many times you've taken bold. I've taken it 8 times in 6.5 years. We're getting there, right? So those little things. Then we go to building your criteria. For me, it's something just as simple as say, what are you looking to do? And you just sit there, you take notes, you shut up. And then if you find something intriguing that you think you need a little bit more clarity on, ask a great, deep question. When you mean your perfect home, what does that look like to you? Because I need to build that perfect picture in my head so I can help you find this great home for you. Okay? And then time frame, like, are you renting? Like in the LP Mom, it talks about, do you have to sell a house to buy a house? Or do you have to procure a mortgage to buy a house? Are you currently renting? Are you month to month? Are you in a long-term lease? What does that look like? So get as much information as you can before you vet them, then you set the appointment as well. And then just figure out what their time frame is. Because if at the end of the day, they can't move until August, do you really want to have them looking at properties in like February? It wouldn't make sense. For an average close, 45 days, if they're doing a conventional and they got to move at the end of August, July, or June, you should start. Maybe 1st of June or something. So keep that in mind. Don't waste your time.
Setting realistic expectations.
Realistic expectations.
Especially, obviously, buyers when they call you and they're looking for a $150,000 house in Solon that's 4 bedroom. It's not happening. It doesn't exist. Well, there's a great deal out there for me. It doesn't exist. Yep. It's not you being mean. It's just real. It's reality.
And here's the thing:
it happens all the time to us. That's why I bring it up.
And if they can't fit into that stat, then why are you working with them?
Yeah.
Get into motivation. That's the one thing that you're always going to need to dig deeper into once you're showing the home itself. Like, hey, this is a great open floor plan. This is exactly what you were looking for. Yes, great. Maybe we should write an offer. Whatever you feel comfortable winning with or losing with, let's write it. Hiccups, what can happen? Title, lending, a lot of problems, right? One agent thinks that they're awesome and they want to hold your earnest money against them. That's that could be an issue. What happens to your earnest money if you don't do anything after the removal of contingencies and appraisals and you walk away? But just little things that can happen. When I'm on the phone, I always ask, who is going to be the major or main decision maker? Next thing you know, you're sitting down with the son and the mom is going to be making all the decisions. She should be there at the consultation. If she's not, set up a different time where they can all be together. Don't do it at a house. Don't do it at a showing. Sit them down. If they're not willing to do that, I don't know if it's worth your time. That's my opinion. So who are the main decision makers? You want to know that. And then as you go through, you're building their criteria, you're painting a picture, you set all these expectations, you talk about earnest money in home inspection. So this is all a sit-down consultation, all of this.
This is big, keeping them in touch with inspections.
I have a question. So at what point will you insist that they get their financing together?
I would say if you're ready, you can do the consultation. I do the consultation with them before they get pre-approved, and then I can kind of size them up. I'll see what kind of car they're driving, what kind of clothes they wear. If, you know, then you can kind of tell, like, all right, is this person really able to do this? And then if you say, hey, you know what, I don't think that we should start looking at houses until you talk to so-and-so, and then I'll contact him and let him know or them know, and then we can move forward and start searching out. Is that okay with you? And if they say, no, we want to start looking at houses now, I'm like, well, what happens if you walk into the house that you love and you can't buy it because you don't have a pre-approval and you don't know you can afford it? That's a lot of pain.
Yeah, I just say sellers aren't even looking at offers for the most part without pre-approvals, and I really don't want to show houses to anyone without a pre-approval. First of all, it's not just about the money, but for us, it's about security, knowing who we're with.
Right.
100%.
And that's a difficult, touchy conversation.
Or
to
even
have,
say
but it's
this,
real. I mean,
like, what if you were selling the house and I had to take your kids out, your dog out, and we have somebody just coming to your
Yes.
house and they can't even afford your property? Would you let them walk?
yeah, when you flip it over, they have a different thought
Yeah.
process than that.
I always just say that the seller's not allowing us in there without a pre-approval.
Yes.
Fair enough.
And that's COVID was good. Sellers don't let you in without it is good. It takes it off of you.
Yeah, it takes a lot from me.
Yeah.
Big time. Because at the end of the day, really the ball is in their court for all of us. You're just setting them up for success. And if they want to take the shot, you just do the best you can, box out, make sure that everything else is ready for them. So this is Kate Johnson, our team, our market center team leader. This is her 3-page buyer presentation. This is what she gives to each and every person.
Fantastic.
Here's all of our lenders that we use. Here are all of the home inspectors that we like to use. Please note that these professionals that we have years of experience with, however, you're always welcome to choose your vendor of choice. We encourage you to do your homework and due diligence. It's on them.
So you're
Right.
not picking the person for them.
Step 1, meet with your realtor. Step 2, get pre-approved. Personally, switch them, one way or the other, right? MLS search. Let's talk about our criteria. How are house showings going to work? Offer, negotiate, acceptance, earnest money check, inspections. These are all the things that you are supposed to do with the last slide. It's all here for them to see if you want to do that way. And then the sales of your company, your business, what you guys have been doing and all that
I
stuff.
think this is great over here because if someone says to you, well, how many houses have you sold or how many buyers have you had? Here it is. Just my office, it takes it off of you, like, especially if you're a new agent. And then we'll flip this on the listing side. I love this piece that you
Exactly.
can tweak this and use this for yourself.
So can we get a copy of that? or you
Yes,
want me
Logan should send it out digitally, like,
Yeah, we
for
can
you,
make that
we'll
work.
get it for you. It captures it on one sheet, I like it.
So now we did a sit-down consultation with them. What is the plan from here? So we're going to go view homes, or we're not viewing homes until they're pre-approved. It's up to you at that point. So what questions are important? What questions do you think are super important when we're pretty much showing homes or explaining to them how the market is? That's up to you. It really depends on your buyer. If they're a super high I or a super high D or a super high S or super high C, everybody's going to be different, and what you have to do for them is different, right?
Yeah, assess your audience,
Yeah.
because everyone's.
Do you know what the disc profiling is? Everybody knows what that is? No? A little bit? Cool. So like if you're working, what questions are important to a high D type personality? Walk fast, talk fast, want results. Biggest thing for them is they don't want to be feeling like they're being taken advantage of. So what you want to do with those type of people is say, hey, is this the house for you? How soon do you want to move in? You're direct. They're direct, you're direct. Or you go the opposite, you high see them, you give them a lot of details, information, and all of the information will eliminate the drama.
There's nothing worse than working with a C who is like an accountant, engineer, and you're trying to sell them. I mean, you can't
Your
be
eye-
salesy with them. They
Yeah.
don't want it. So I think it's really critical to know. I know when I have a C, okay, I go back to mine.
D's want you to work for them without taking advantage of them. That's it. And they'll make a choice. They're not slow. There's only 3% of the world is a D type of personality. So if you're with a high I, I would imagine Stacey's got some I in her.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm an I and a C, so.
You look great.
Thank
Let's
you.
say, how beautiful is this kitchen? Look how amazing these floors are.
Mhm.
Could you see yourself walking on these each and every day?
Same.
Yeah,
I'm an IC.
same here.
Are you? Okay.
99I, 67C.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, you're a high eye.
You're a high I, David.
Asterisks. Weird.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't care. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So you're gonna cater to somebody else differently than just everybody else. Keeping in mind, this is super important statistics for buyers. 65% of the population are S's. And why are S's so important? They're steady, stable, secure. They will be your network connectors for you. Because if you can get an S to trust you, you can get anybody else to trust you. So keep that in mind. So,
And they're great for referring you people that S's are.
so with an S, if I'm showing a house, I'm saying this is a really safe, this seems like a very safe neighborhood. It's got glass block basement windows. Isn't that awesome? Because every month your bills are gonna go down because it's nice and insulated. Newer windows, how important is it that there's newer windows, newer roof? S's and C's want to hear that all day. I's want the coolest thing, D's just want the best thing. Best thing, coolest thing, safe, secure, stable house, and then something that's gonna save them monthly that they're not gonna have to touch. They want all the information, that's a C. So just know who you're talking to. So how do I show homes? Everybody I think is different. For me, I prefer to show as many houses at one sitting and kind of get them to buy something that day instead of going one at a time.
Me too. I actually don't prefer to do that at all, and most of the time don't.
And
Unless it's just
okay.
that one just came on and we're in a high
Yep,
market,
and you gotta rush.
I'll run out and show that one. But for the most part, I'm like, let's walk time and let's go see 7 houses. Great. Which one do you like? I always think of Nancy Lear ripping up the first one, the sheet, kind of jokingly, but it's true. Like, okay, is that one off the table? Next.
And for me, I used to do it analog. I used to do a printout every time.
Right.
And I say, hey, did you want to hang on to this? No, this one's not the one, right?
Yeah.
Now I do everything digital. I do it on my phone. I just go through everything that way. So what questions are important? Know who you're talking to. How do I show homes? For me, my background really is helping people build, rehab, and remodel homes. So I know the ins and outs. So I'm a big asset person, knowing the ages of furnaces, knowing the ages of hot water tanks, roof, windows, how new is something, how well is something done. That's up to you. However you work, however you operate, just tone it up. For me, if you're gonna walk through your house and you're gonna point something out, know what you're talking about. Hey, this furnace is high efficiency. How did you know that? Well, it's got 2 PVC pipes that come out of it.
People like to know that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
I think you have to have interest too. I mean, David, this is the woman in me versus maybe a man. I'm just gonna be honest. I think you have to show interest in the house that your buyer's looking at. If you just open the door and walk in and you're like, hey, take a look around. I mean, if that's your style, it works, whatever. But it doesn't work for my buyers, and I don't recommend it. I mean, they want you to be excited for them. So show some enthusiasm and energy, and not like, oh, here I am opening another door. I don't know. That's my opinion. So
no, you're definitely 100% right, because people don't want to work with somebody that's
doesn't
they
feel.
don't want, yeah. They
How
want
are
to
you actually
enjoy
gonna
the
get this done
process.
for me if
Yeah.
you're not even interested in the house, right? So.
Very good. So
And some houses are less to be interested in than others, but for that person, that is exciting for them. So
100%. So again, knowing your client, because if you're walking through the house, you're not gonna say, oh, like I hate this. Don't
is
you hate this
horrible.
too?
Yes.
They're not gonna want that. So really, what are we saying and doing in the home? For me, I like to do a walk around the house. We'll look at siding, glass block basement windows, roof, chimney, flashing, ridge venting, type of, is it sandstone, is it brick, is it poured? What kind of landscaping? Does it have any negative grade towards the house? Is it a big backyard? Does everything flow? So what are you doing in your process? So if you're going around the house first, that's what I do. Then I go right into the basement. We check the walls. So there's really, if the bones of the house stink, chances are they're not even going to want to see the rest of the house. That saves me time. Let's go to the next one. I'm cool with that.
you'll rule out several houses, my buyers, what you said, they'll rule out 4 basements over block all day long. We're done, we leave,
Yeah.
and then we don't go to those buildings.
When is that a great time to ask that question?
Probably at your buyer's
Set
consultation.
your expectations.
Especially if they're a C, they want one window. They want block basements, not 4.
Yeah. Fine,
Silly,
cool.
silly questions, but
Maybe I need to learn the difference.
yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. We talked
super
about that.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sandstone's going to be a little bit more porous. You know, Fairview Park, Lakewood, a lot of Cleveland Heights houses, they have different types of stone. They have different type of brick. Like, it's important to know what the longevity of those are going to do and what to look for. Efflorescence, maybe some things falling out in the joints, the mortar. You know, if you're using the right terms too, it just makes you, they just trust you that much more. So go learn the terms too.
And geographically, you'll know, like, oh, my buyer only wants new homes with Brian, but they don't want poured walls. Well,
Sorry.
Ryan's probably not for them.
Yeah.
Don't waste your time showing 10 houses at Ryan.
What are we saying in doing the home? We're confident because we know what we're doing. This is our job. We're here to help you. This is what I do. You'll be surprised, even if you're 6 months in a job or 6 years, you'll already know more. You've done a lot. Trust me, it's worth it. You know more than they do, I believe. So I believe that. What does an offer and inspections with negotiations look like? You know, for you guys, it comes down to now is the time that there were 2.3 million houses for sale last year. Now there's only 1 million. So what does that tell you? We need to go see the house fast. We need to be aggressive. And if it truly is the one, we may have to go $10,000, $15,000 over the list price. If you do that, make sure that they understand that their lender is in charge of letting them know the financial part. Leverage them. That's your resource. You don't tell them. Let them do that work. That's what they're for.
I don't get involved in that because if there's
You
mistakes, they will hold you to it.
Yep.
And we're not the professional lender.
Not at all. But you can tell them, like, hey, did you know that your mortgage involves principal, interest, mortgage, and insurance? I didn't know that.
Yep.
You can tell them that stuff. But the bottom line figure, hey, reach out to Sean Hadley or Cross Country Mortgage or whoever. So, like, there's those little things there. What do inspections look like? Who is your inspector that you use? I'm not saying that you have to use the same person all the time, though it's nice. I found a really good inspector that gives you pictures, arrows, gives them a book of like maintenance for each and every month. They don't charge the most. They bring 2 people. They're done in an hour and a half, depending on the size of the house. That's adding value because it's not wasting time. They give you a great report, and I know who they are. So when I'm showing houses, I'm like, this is going to pop up on the report. I know this will too. If you can deal with that, do you still want to write this offer?
I will point things out right away beforehand.
Do it. Do it.
It saves you another hurdle at inspection if you already see something.
You should pretty much know what's going to pop up on your home inspection from looking at the house. So that's why you need to be engaged when you're there, and you need to be turned on. If you can't do it, write notes. Take notes for each house. I know you're seeing probably 10 to 15 houses sometimes a day, but really focus in on remembering what they're thinking as much as you possibly can. I know it sounds tough. It's just going to go a long way because they're seeing the same thing you are, and your conversations are actually matching, and then you can move forward. You have to be on the same playing level, essentially. I would say now is do not be lazy, write more offers. If your client does want to write a lower offer, write it. I would write it. Because what if they want to negotiate, or what if it works? I had it happen to me. We wrote a lowball offer and they accepted it. So, whoa, sweet.
Can we bounce back real quick to inspections and negotiations and what they look like?
Yeah.
If I'm telling if I'm saying something you already know, sorry, but when you're writing the offer and you know you're in a multiple offer situation, obviously going over the asking price is great. But the one thing I have found for some of my sellers is it's not just the price, obviously, it's the terms. I've had many people in our multiples on our listings, they've gotten rid of inspections. Would I encourage my buyer to do that? No, but we give them the option. Okay, the one thing that would make your offer attractive is give them longer possession. You know, you wouldn't do inspections. I wouldn't encourage you to do that, but I'm just letting you know that's what, if you really want this house, that would be attractive.
Yeah,
and it
why
worked
do you say
yesterday.
that? Why do you say that?
Why do I say that to them? It's another hurdle that the seller doesn't have to overcome with negotiations. So from a seller's perspective, okay, we go under contract. Now I have to get through 3 more steps: inspection, appraisal, closing, financing. So if they don't have to get through the first step and they just jump to step number 2, they'll take that over a 2,000 higher offer. I mean, my sellers most of the time have.
And then keep in mind that you're letting them know, you're letting your buyer know, like, this is another option.
I wouldn't suggest it, but it's an option.
Options are always good things.
They are.
For the
And they
most
can
part.
make the decision. You're not making it for them. You're not even encouraging them to do it. You're just sharing on the other side of it. Flip yourself to a listing. You know, as a buyer's agent, you're a listing agent, and I share that with my buyers.
Have you noticed anything with the home warranty being like an issue?
I don't ask for a home warranty for my buyers. I pay for the home warranty for my buyers.
Okay.
That's another hurdle to overcome.
That's what I was
Because if a
thinking.
seller gets an offer and there's $500 savings of not doing it here but here,
Right.
yes, they're going to go with that one.
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes, yeah, not always, you're
Yeah.
right. Sometimes
Depends.
people are in a situation where they have a really hot house, they just wanna sell because they wanna make the money right now, but they don't have anywhere to go.
Right.
So you have situations where people will close in 30 days, give them 60 days possession, no inspections. They're gonna take that all day long over a $5,000
Right.
offer because their rent would be more than that. That's a lot, but just unique situations that you can try to think about your offer and go, what can I take out that the buyer's willing to take out?
Right.
And then share with them, you chose to take this out,
Right,
so they don't forget. You didn't make the decision though.
right.
Love that. Know your contingencies.
Yes.
A VA loan and an FH loan is very different than a conventional loan, right? So, even if you were to write an offer and say, hey, I have a VA buyer, he's willing to remove any of the FHA inspection stuff in here. We want to do a normal inspection just so he knows, because he's a handy guy, he's military vet, he can do the work himself. That's what that's for. Or in the contract itself, it says, it's not even a contingency, still wants to do it, but we're waiving it as a contingency. That's in our contract. So like those little things can put you a little bit above, but if you know your contingencies, you can kind of like prevent them from being a big issues and still have them as well.
I mean, if you know that your roof is jacked up, for lack of a better professional word, it's not gonna pass the
Anything.
inspection, so set that expectation.
And I mean, usually you can just kind of they can usually just take that on too. If they're
Yeah.
willing to take it on, they can take it on.
Right.
But, make it tough. And then know how to evaluate a home. I don't think that enough of us use the dollar per square foot. Do you use dollar per square foot when you
All
list?
day long.
All day long. So like, I'll go on my phone, I'll pull up, I'll do a quick CMA with a quarter mile, put the address in, do a quarter mile, and I'll say, hey, wow, this is listed at $150 a square foot. Everything else is selling for like $165. I know it's a little bit dated,
Yeah.
but it's a 2,000 square foot house, and if I put $15 a square foot back into it, I'm 30 grand, I'm breaking even then. So like the numbers, what does it say? Data eliminates drama. So if you give them the info and you give them the data, you did your job in so many ways.
And we explain minimum, maximum,
You have
average
to.
price per square foot. Obviously, if we walk in and it's all, you're getting maximum price per
But
square
the
foot.
data really, our buyers don't want that data, right? Well,
Maybe
Depending on their personality type,
100%.
right?
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
it
Oh, on
depends
the
on what
buying
you want.
side, I'm flipping the seller side.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
On the buy side, a lot of people that I work with, I'll let them know what it is, because I guess I'm a high eye, so it gives me something to tell them and look good and be right.
Mhm.
And you have more information.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it gives them more
Yeah.
information. I think it kind of builds a little bit more trust, because they think now I'm looking at, well, I am, but looking out for their best interests. My fiduciary is there. It's just another piece to add value.
Okay.
And it doesn't take a lot more, but you stand out.
And then keep in mind, when an appraiser comes in, they look at the new windows, they see the new roof, they see glass block, they see new furnaces, they see new AC. So you need to use that valuation as well, because at the end of the day, you'll be super surprised that you wrote this certain offer with them and it might be above, and the appraisal is going to not hit it. It will hit that most of the time if those things are there, and you presented that to them and they understand that. That's why what are we saying in the home, and know what you're showing. Know what you're showing.
And sharing with them that when you get in this home, it's turnkey. You're just gonna walk in and live. You don't really have to do a whole lot. I mean, things happen, but if you have a brand new roof, HVAC and hot water tank, you're a little set for a while. You can start saving money again. That's how I present it.
So these are the things that you should be doing daily. You should be lead generating daily. You probably are. We're realtors. I know some realtors work from 8 to 5. If you're me, your eyes are open, you're on the clock, and then when your eyes are closed, you're clocked out. So it really depends on how you want to run your business.
I'm not either. Yeah, I know.
This should be scheduled. Lead generate, schedule. Uncover motivations each and every time you show a house. There may be something that they have been hiding from you, because you need to dig deep. Dig as deep as you possibly can.
Because they will not tell you everything. Right?
One of the great sayings I heard is, I'd rather have one well 1,000 feet deep than 100 wells a foot deep. So if you can go deep with one person, that's a really good feeling. You did a good job. So identify objections. What would be an issue from you buying this house today? Or, what can we do to write an offer today? Figure out what they need to get over. What is the issue? Close deals. You should be closing deals every day, right? Speak in terms of client understands. Yeah. We're not going to say ROC to them. We're going to say removal of contingencies. We're not going to say NAR to them. We're going to say National Association of Realtors. I'm not going to put them on the MLS. I'm going to put them in the multiple listing service. Have you talked to your lender? Oh my gosh, that's going into underwriting. Well, I don't know what that is, right? So just be careful what you're saying to them. Speak in terms the client understands. What's another thing too is buyers agents forget is, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Buyer, you know, is it easier to text, call, or email? What do you prefer? Get on like the same level as
Yeah.
these sections.
Set that up front so you know what their expectations are in their schedule.
Your daily habits will build confidence because you're doing it every day. You're failing every day. You made a mistake, and now you know what you're learning from. Build your own confidence. Role play, script practice. Update your contracts, meaning the stuff that you're writing on each and every day, what's something in there that shouldn't be in there, or what's something that should be in there. Follow up. The
We had
FUs
someone
and
in our
FU.
office leave, and he would say he wanted to be the king of follow-up. But when he said it years ago, I'm like, what is he talking about? And now I get what he's saying. Follow-up is huge. You have to do it. Otherwise, they find someone else.
What is the average number of times it takes to connect with a buyer normally? How many times do you have to call or text them or email them?
Is it 5 to 7?
Seven times. I'm going to use this. They say that the FU money is in the FU, follow-up. Simple. Just follow up.
Okay.
So be task oriented, should do is good. Now I'm not saying that I'm saying here is go and write a list of everything that you could do and should do throughout the day. Just like today, like what you should do, what could you do? And then go and just do all your could do's. It's going to eliminate your time. It's going to leverage off stuff. You're not going to do things that's not as important.
Yeah.
And then if you do your could do's, how much of that can you leverage off of your could do's? Showings. Somebody else could do that for you. So like if you're setting the expectation, sitting in the consultation, that's something you could do. Somebody else could do that too. Should you do it? Yeah, I should probably do that one, but it's up to you. You don't have to. So you can kind of decide like what's important today, what's even more important out of that, and then what's even more important out of that.
Right.
Go, start big, go small.
And set it up front. My husband jokingly says, give a warm transfer. Make it warm and let them know up front that someone else on your team could be doing this. Or if you're an individual agent, that's okay too. It's still your team. It's someone else doing it.
Hey, I work with a team, Keller Williams, Greater Cleveland, Southeast. We have a ton of awesome agents that are in our office. So if I can't make it, somebody will be able to step in. And you'll be surprised when you leave, that's when more business works. And you have somebody else do it, leverage them up, give them a percentage. You're still making money and they did all the work.
And utilize your time well. I mean, for David, he has a schedule, like he said, 8 to 5. I'm sort of working into the evening, different times that I'm like, I need to stop doing this. I know that. But obviously during the day when it's your lead generating time, you're not going to be doing your loops and command and all. I mean, do that later. It can be done after hours. It doesn't have to be done during business hours when you can call people.
What's the one thing that's such by doing everything else because simple or unnecessary? It's lead generation. And at that time, if that's the most important thing for you, do that first. Nothing else matters until the first task is done of the day, right? All right. So rules to live by. You can do it. Believe it or not, you can do it. You can create results. I suggest this is don't talk about people, talk about ideas with people. Try not to gossip there. Gossip, it can hurt you in a couple different ways, and also it changes the energy throughout the showing as well. Put your shoulders back, right? Jordan Peterson is a psychologist out of Canada. He did a study. He said the very first thing is to put your shoulders back. 12 rules to live by. That's the very first one is put your shoulders back. Like, be confident. Get in. Yeah, you're good. I'm telling you.
Once you're in the door, half the battle is over with. It's getting to the door.
They're the boss, but you're the expert. So keep in mind, ideas get thoughts into action. So if you're talking about ideas, you're getting them to think, which means you're getting them emotional, which means you're getting them into action. So actions create results, and actions only come from emotion. So people don't move without emotion. They really don't. Emotions come from lifestyle choices. So again, know who you're talking about. Know what motivates them. We talked about that before. How can we use it? Stay scheduled. Script and role play every day. Showings. When are you available to do it? Is it in your calendar? There may be a time where you're out on a Friday night and you didn't schedule your showing for Saturday and you forgot about it. If it's not scheduled, it doesn't exist, right? Consults. Know that you're going to have to drive to where you're going. That should be scheduled. Your sit down starts at a certain time. your presentation is so long, and then you're leaving to go to your next appointment, schedule the difference. It should all be in there. It's specific, I get it. It'll help. Inspections, when are inspections? When's the next inspection? When's the appraisal? What's the next part of the process? That should all be scheduled. And then don't forget to be lead generating at every moment. No matter where you're at, you will realize that at the end of the day, you will hear a conversation in that back corner about real estate, and you're going to just hear it, which is great. Then you know you're tuned in. My favorite hustle. Learn leverage. My question, CJ, I've been using this affirmation for years. It's if not me, who? And then it turned into if not me, well, who? Who else can do it? Somebody else can do it, or do I have to do it? If not me, who? So know homes, because if you know homes, you know what's going to be different from each home. You can explain that, hey, we saw A, we saw B. I really like C because it had what A and B's best qualities were. It's a little bit more, but like if you know what you're getting, their value of it, you can really teach people that too. So know homes. This is business, not social hour. I know that your buyers are going to want to hang out sometimes and talk. It's okay to you have somewhere to go, you know. You scheduled this time in your schedule to show them homes. You don't have to be their best friend. Once they close and you get paid, you can go take them out for a drink. And then know the difference between business and kindness. Meaning, I don't pay for home warranties.
I know. It's okay.
I just don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't pay for home inspections. I don't do it.
I don't pay for home inspections.
I don't help with closing costs. I'm kind, but my business is, I'm business. Let's get this stuff done. And then, you know, just be able to say like, okay, a closing gift after or something. That's, you know, whatever, however you want to do it. Just don't confuse the two. And then the best, I think, is don't let emotion get in the way of your vision. You're going to have 10 seconds of the worst moment of your life. Don't let it destroy the other 86,400 or 390.
Yeah, jump over the hurdle quick.
Yeah.
Don't get down. Don't.
Hal Elrod wrote The Miracle Morning, and he says if you ever have something terrible, you should only give it 5 minutes. 5 minutes is a long time. Give it 5 minutes.
There was someone I used to work with at the hospital in my previous years of being a nurse who said, you didn't have a bad day, you had a bad moment. And it's the same thing.
One of my mentors always said, a pity party is the most expensive party you can ever have.
That's good.
Yeah.
Do not
That is
get
good.
a long party.
Yeah,
100%.
that is so good. Yep, it's true.
And then how good do you feel that
it
you
gets
can
into your
get rid of it?
mental, like your mojo is all
Yeah.
messed up, and it's harder to recover.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's probably had nothing to do with you.
Absolutely didn't have anything to do with you for the most part. It's them.
No.
It's that person's personal situation.
That's it.
That's it?
What time is it?
It's only 2:00.
Wow, we're done early. Script play? I'm joking.
Yeah,
I'm
we can
done
script
early.
them.
No,
Okay. I know, no one wants to do that. It's not fun.
It's not fun.
I
I don't know
know.
why it's not fun.
But I found, I'm not sure if we're still online, if we should shut down or keep going.
It's up to you.
I found the Ford call is probably the easiest call.
It is. The
Um,
fourth one is very
The care
intense.
call was fantastic.
A lot of the scripts that we did in Vogue
Oh,
are very good,
Yeah.
but it's, I don't,